Rogue One, a Star Wars story, is the first movie in an upcoming endless lineup of Disney Star Wars standalone spin-off, prequel, sequels, whatever movies. And it's directed by Gareth Edwards and it stars Felicity Jones, Diego Luna and a whole bunch of other actors of different ethnicities for once. Other than those titles, of course, but still, there's a lot of variety here. And last year we had The Force Awakens. It came out, everyone loved it, and then it got a lot of hate for a multitude of reasons. I still have to rewatch the movie, so it might hold up, it might not. I loved it when it came out. But honestly, I wasn't really all that excited for Rogue One. The trailers didn't really capture me. I didn't find the story very intriguing, honestly. It looked kind of boring, dour, depressing, sad. I do like those kinds of movies, but it's Star Wars, come on. But I finally managed to watch it. And there are flaws, many of them unfortunately, but the goods far outweigh the bad, in my opinion. And let's start from the bad. The only real issue that I have with the movie are the characters themselves. And I'm going to compare this movie to another 2016 release of an ensemble movie of a suicide mission, and that movie is The Magnificent Seven by Antoine Fuqua. In that movie you had slightly one-dimensional characters, but by how they act in the movie, by how they act with each other, you understand who they are, there is a little bit of backstory to some of them, and you do believe their relationships. Unfortunately, none of that happens in this movie, especially with the two Chinese characters, with Donnie Yen and the other one, you know, the blind monk and his bodyguard with the machine guns and the gigantic weapons. Those two guys are pretty much exactly like Ethan Hawke and Byung-Hun Lee from The Magnificent Seven. In this movie they were completely pointless. Pretty much they're just in the beginning of the movie when they're first introduced, then they just stand in the background more or less, saying some pretty spiritual stuff, and then in the end they do something during the climax because they have to. But other than that, they don't have a real personality, and that's the problem with most of the characters in this movie. And even with our two main heroes, who are Felicity Jones and Diego Luna, I did like them to some extent because at least they have a little bit of depth compared to other characters, and they do have an arc more or less in the movie. There is also a droid voiced by Alan Tudyk, who is funny. He's pretty much the same exact thing as Drax the Destroyer from Guardians of the Galaxy. It was there, it was funny to an extent, not really all that memorable honestly, and the rest of the cast is just kind of there. That's the sad thing about it. I don't find any of these characters in this movie memorable, except for a couple of characters that we already know. One is Darth Vader, who is in the movie in a couple of scenes, one scene in particular that everybody's raving about. Yes, it's pretty darn great, honestly. And then we also have Grand Moff Tarkin, who was played by Peter Cushing in Star Wars Episode 4. This movie is fully CGI. Did I dislike it? Not really, it looked awkward, but it didn't really take me out of the movie as much as it did to other viewers. It was weird. It honestly was pretty darn weird, but still, it was watchable. And there's another CGI character in the end. That one looked bad, and it was completely unnecessary, but still, that's just my opinion. But what about the actual movie? I found it pretty entertaining. It was a solid movie overall, pretty straightforward, with a little bit of fodder in the first act, which moved probably too slowly, but after a gigantic explosion of a city, the movie picks up for me, and the second act I did like quite a lot, especially because we focus on the character of Jean Erso, who is portrayed by Felicity Jones. She was really the most interesting character, probably because she was portrayed by Felicity Jones, but still, I did like her arc in the movie, and Diego Luna was fine as well. And once we get to the third act, which is the gigantic battle on this tropical planet, that was incredible. It truly was entertaining, engaging, there were high stakes. I did not care for any of the characters, I did not care unfortunately, and if I did it would have been even better. But as it stands, it's still a fairly damn enjoyable action war movie with some interesting concepts. I did like that the rebellion isn't portrayed as the saviors of the galaxy who only do good things. They actually do some pretty nasty things. It happens in war, and it did portray that pretty well in my opinion. And some are just saying you can't do a war movie because you have aliens and stuff. Come on, I mean, it's Star Wars. And they tried, they did some risky things in this movie, even though it still feels a little bit too safe in my opinion. But I do not fault them for that all that much, because if it were just way too different, a lot of fans of the genre would have complained. And what I've seen quite a lot of is that most fans are satisfied because they say, this is what we wanted. And that's exactly what this is. It is pretty much a fan film, made by a fan, with fans in it, but it doesn't feel all that distinct in my opinion. I do like the more serious tone, I do like the gritty action, I do like the entire third act honestly, and I do like the ending to an extent. I also did like the new score by Michael Giacchino. It's one of those scores that picks up a couple of notes from memorable scenes but then changes them, like you're listening in the background right now. I liked it. It's enjoyable, it's fun, not one of the best scores ever, it's not at the levels of John Williams, but it's still pretty darn good. And the special effects were impressive, honestly, from the big, gigantic environments, to the ships, to the battles. It looked great, it really did look great. And this is one of those movies that honestly, I don't know how I can recommend it, because there are fans who love it, there are fans who hate it, there are normal people who love it, and there are normal people who hate it. I just say that you have to go out and watch it for yourself and make up your own opinion. You're probably not going to find this mind-blowing, perfect, excellent or whatever, but it is enjoyable in my opinion. It is well made, it has a couple of interesting characters, it is a story that didn't really need to be told, but how it was told was probably the best way that it could have been told, in my opinion, except if they made it more like a heist movie instead of a war movie. If it had the ice component improved a little bit, it would have been even better in my opinion. But still, I liked it, I actually want to rewatch this. I found it that enjoyable. I don't think it's the best Star Wars movie ever made. It's probably in the top 5, come on. It's in the top 5 easily of 8 movies. That's not saying much, but still, it's in the top 5. And go check it out. And also tell me in the comments below what you think of this movie, if you liked it, if you dislike it, or if you don't want to see it, just tell me why in the comments below. Thanks as always for watching, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.